Your first check of news, weather, traffic, and sports, plus a little fun on the WMT Morning Show.
Catherine Mars is a certified educational consultant, and we're talking about digital dangers in lieu of what happened over at Harvard University. You had a number of kids who were seniors in high school. They were accepted to Harvard University. They became part... Well, I'll let you explain it, Catherine. Thanks for joining us here on the WMT Morning Show. How are you today?
Well, I'm great, Doug. Thank you so much for having me on. The Harvard situation is what I consider a great wake-up call for all teenagers. Mm-hmm. Teenagers need to be quite sensitive to what they post on social media, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or even a Twitter account. What these individuals did was, in my opinion, against the moral code. Everyone should have some sort of filtering mechanism so that they may think certain things about people or the Holocaust or sexual innuendos, but you don't put it on paper or you don't put it on the internet. It can come back to haunt you, which is exactly what happened with these students.
Yeah, what
it
happened
was a private
Facebook group that they had, and then they posted something. They were posting things like you alluded to, but then somebody just kind of flipped it over, turned them in. And the moral code that you're talking about is something that Harvard University said, all right, we have a moral code, and because of that, we are going to rescind your offer letters.
And I think that's very reasonable. In other words, those students were going to be representing Harvard University, and that's not the reputation Harvard wants.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, they want free speech, and they want people to speak freely of how they feel about things, but there's a line that those kids crossed.
Well, let me ask you a question.
And I think in a civil society, you don't do that.
Let me ask you a question, though, about the ability for them to... I mean, I don't know if they talked with them at all after this, or if they interviewed them, they had a conversation with them, or if they just said, all right, no, first strike and you're out. Is there place for redemption? Because, I mean, these, after all, I mean, I'm not going to use this, oh, they're just kids, but, yeah, they're just kids. They're maybe 18 years old.
Well, I think when you're 18 years old, you're a young adult. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think part of the problem today is that, you know, we have helicopter parents. We have parents who do everything for their students, everything. That means that if they have a bad grade, the parents are the ones who go to the teachers and say, why did you do that? Why didn't my son make an A?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the way a child grows up. Students need to own what they do and take responsibility. Mm-hmm. So consequences should be something that students are getting all along the way as they are growing up as teenagers. So by the time they're 18, they need to be mature enough to make good decisions. And going off to college is a big deal, and you want your child to be successful. So I think that Harvard had every right, and yes, I do think that there's opportunity for them to make this up, but I don't think Harvard should offer them admission next year. I think they need to go somewhere else, and this is a hard lesson to learn, but I think it's the right one.
Catherine Mars, a certified educational consultant, joins us here on the WMT Morning Show. Exit question for you. I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to take us out to the West Coast, to California, Berkeley, where they basically had the riot after Milo Yiannopoulos was scheduled to speak, and they busted in windows, they set fires. Do students like that, if they're identified, should they be expelled for their actions as well, if we're taking a look at or is this apples and chairs, in your opinion?
No, I think absolutely they should be expelled for what they did. First of all, college is supposed to be about free speech and about having views from different sides being given. Free speech, I mean, what Milo was going to talk about was different maybe from what they were being taught in school, but they need to hear it. They need to hear both sides. So that's different, in my opinion, than what these students at Harvard did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, again, both of them were wrong, and very much so. When you destroy public property or private property, either one, you should suffer the consequences.
Catherine, I've said for years that the right to freedom of speech comes with the responsibility to use it well, and it sounds like you're in that same court, so I appreciate you taking the time to come on the morning show here and talk with us, okay?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Doug.
Take care.
You have a great day.
You too.